Hello everyone, my name is Dorian, and in this video I'm going to show you a lap with the F3 at Catalunya. I also made a setup. If you guys want to see more setups and track guides, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and hop over to my Discord as well. That's where you can also find the setup. Now I'm just going to show you guys the lap real quick, and then we're going to go over it corner by corner. See you on the track. Okay, so we're coming up to turn number 1. Let's look for a braking point. Now, it's going to be past the 100 sign right here and before the access route here. So the lighter the car, the better the tires conditions are, the later you're going to brake, the closer you're going to be to this access route. So right now the car is pretty optimal. I've got half a tank pretty much, or maybe even a little bit less than that. And the tires are nice and warm, so I'm going to brake very close to it, about 5 meters, maybe even less. Peak at around 60%, and I'm going to be pretty lazy with the downshifts here. You can see I'm kind of stealing some of the road on the left. I forgot to mention that. That kind of helps you for the entry. And I'm going to turn in nice and slowly. I'm not trying to sharply get the car into the apex, and I'm going to be lazy with the downshift. So I'm going to be late into third gear, and I'm taking in third the whole way through here. Now, this is your apex. So this little guy, you don't want to touch it. You either want to put your right front to its left or to its right. To put it to its right is very fast, but also very, very difficult to execute. So don't rely on it. I definitely rely on going to its left. It's way more consistent. So I'm putting my right front as close to it as I dare as I go back to the power. So my return to the throttle is gentle, and it's pretty early. So right before I hit it, around 40, 50%, 60%. You can see how smooth it is, how gradual it is. Again, try not to upset the rear end here. Trying to keep the car nice and settled. And letting it accelerate flat out between the two corners here. Starting to turn in. Definitely clipping as much as I can here without getting off track. The car does not get beached. Kind of short shifting, almost short shifting into fourth. So I'm not really stretching third gear so much, because it does have a tendency to over-rotate on the exit here. So you want that fourth gear for that stability. And already taking the car to the left. Staying in fourth for the entry. And I'm going to upshift halfway through the corner. So right around here. I'm going to upshift into fifth. And I'm going to try to grab an early apex here. Right around here is where I'm going to put two wheels on the curb. You can even clip the dirt just a tiny bit, not a big deal. And I'm going to use as little input as I can with the wheel. And I'm taking it flat out, by the way. And with cold tires, you might want to lift for the first couple of laps. After that, you're good. So I'm going to open up the wheel as much as I can without going all the way to the outside, because eventually you don't want to take too much of a long route here. It does cost you a little bit of time. So you want to stay somewhere in the middle and slowly drift to the left. That's going to bring us to the outside here. A little bit more than that at this point would have been a 1x, so be careful. You can start putting your left side of the car over here right around now. And line ourselves up for the next braking point. I got about half the car, or even, I would say 2/3 of the car past the white line here. And I'm going to brake right before the bridge. We do have a sign here, the 50 sign. I'm guessing I'm braking right around it, but I don't even look at it at this point. I'm looking at the corner. But the bridge is a better indication. As you kind of get under it, or just before you get under it, I'm going to start braking. From 5th or 6th actually, into 3rd. Letting go of the brake pretty early here. The amount of trail brake I'm giving it is almost has no significance. The reason being it's uphill. There's a lot of camber. So you want to take advantage of that and let that slow the car down. You don't need to brake hard into the corner. You do want to stay tight here. You don't want to let the car run too wide. There is a little bit of time if you kind of hug this white line on the entry. And then let the car go wide on the exit. So pretty aggressive, but not at to 100%. So I'm almost immediately going up to, let's say, 60%. And as I open up the wheel gradually into 100, and just letting the car kind of float nicely to the outside. Now again, with cold tires, I would be way more gentle here. I wouldn't even look for the outside, for the inside that aggressively. I might stay on the outside a little bit and be more gentle on my return to the throttle. Taking the car immediately to the right here. Very tricky braking point because there's no visual marker. My visual marker is when it starts going downhill, right around this area when the tarmac kind of breaks and starts going downhill. And that's where I'm going to brake. From 4th into 2nd. Around 60% peak, I would say. Yeah, 60% peak. I don't need to brake that much. I'm trying to carry as much speed. The release is pretty immediate. And I'm already trail braking in 2nd gear. Trying to clip the inside curb. I don't want to touch the green stuff too much. I do want to touch the red stuff as much as I can. So putting the left front right around here, I would say. This is sort of the area where you want it. And I'm giving it just a little bit of power because the car does have a tendency to get unsettled here. That 50% throttle is going to keep it nice and stable throughout the corner. As I open up the wheel, of course, back to 100%. And you can actually use all the outside here, not a problem. So I got the entire car on the right here. Just a tiny bit more than that. It would be a 1x, but don't even worry about it because you can use a lot of it. Now, this is a very tricky corner because you would think you should take it in 3rd, but after trying it for a couple of times, I've discovered that 4th works much better here. It is harder, so if you struggle here, try 3rd, but 4th is definitely faster, up to 2/10 faster in this corner. So as you can see, there's this white line here. It kind of merges, blends me into the curb, and that's my turn-in and braking point. So I'm gonna brake right on it, and as I brake, I'm gonna start turning about halfway through this curb. I'm gonna put my right side of the car on it just to maximize my approach. And very quick release, because I'm trying to carry the speed. There's tons of camber here, and we're starting to go uphill on the exit, so there's a lot of grip on the exit. And very subtle trail braking, less than 5%, I would say. Trying to catch this curb nicely. You can't catch the green stuff, and as soon as I put my left side of the car on it, back on the power, because 4th gear, the car doesn't get unsettled, so you can be pretty aggressive. Already to 60-70%, and as I straighten out the wheel back to 100, do avoid the sleeping policeman here, the yellow stuff. You do not want to touch it. It will make you bounce like crazy. But the closer you are to it, the faster you're probably going. So you need to be a little bit brave here. I'm taking the left side of the car to the curb here on the left. Staying in 5th gear. And I'm going to turn in as the white stuff here, the white part of the curb, kind of blends into the tarmac. And that's my indication to start to turn in. I'm not looking here just yet. Only now am I starting to look to the right. And I'm going to start lifting very gently as I approach the curb here. Now the apex, a lot of people think the apex is this guy, but it's actually just after it. So this is my apex. Right around here where I'm at, this is my apex. I clip the curb nicely. Around 90% the whole way through, I would say. As I straighten out the wheel back to 100. That little bit of a lift, you can take it flat out, but it's way more consistent to lift very gently here. Barely any time lost. So maybe on the best of scenarios, half a tenth. Alright, looking for another braking point here, right on the 100. Oh, I kind of missed my pause button. So we got the 100 here, right before it, I would assume. Yeah, right around here. Let's say the 105, 110, 110. And very hard braking point. You are going downhill, so we're peaking at around 80%, 75%. And right as we cross the bridge, I'm gonna start releasing very fast, very quickly. Into second gear, and I'm gonna rotate the car very late. So I'm braking a straight line for a long time here. I don't really have a signal for a braking point here, for a turn-in point, sorry. But as we kind of finish this tree here on our right, that's where I'm going to start turning in. And you want to commit. You don't want to turn in too early and then have to correct halfway through. You want to find a point where you can commit, rotating the car fully because it's a very long corner. Second gear the whole way through. Very subtle trail braking, just keeping a little bit of pressure on the front without scrubbing off too much speed. Getting the left front right nicely on this red curb. Do not put it on the green one. It will upset the car. And halfway through, I'm going to go back to the power. 50%, letting the car settle first. I don't want to... it's very easy to step the back end out here on the exit. Or go wide and clip the yellow stuff, which will kill you. So you want to avoid both by using 50% to about 75%, 80% of the corner. And only when I really straighten out the wheel, I smash it back to 100. I managed to avoid it. Now, this is a tricky area because you kind of have to go flat out. And I was a little bit... I was having such a good lap that I was kind of afraid to do that. But technically, you want to go flat out here. It will be faster. If you go just a little bit... have a little bit more throttle. I did lift quite a bit, quite significantly. And as I straighten out the car, I'm in the middle of the road. I can't go all the way to the left here. I can't afford to. So I'm in the middle here, and I'm going to be pretty lazy with my turn-in. The braking is very gentle, very subtle. I'm doing most of my turn-in with the wheel, not with the brakes. Just a little clip to around 20%, and then immediate release to, I don't know, let's say 5%. And I'm very lazy. I'm preparing the car for a long turn-in, so I'm not doing anything sharp. And I'm slowly rotating the wheel more and more into the corner. I'm trying to grab it as a late apex, a single late apex. Now, the point where I return to the throttle is, I would say, halfway through. Because the car is going to keep rotating here. On the exit, it's going to have a tendency to oversteer, in fact. So you don't want to smash it too early. You want to be 50, 60, 70%. Be nice and gradual. Open up the wheel. After this bump stop, the yellow stuff, then open up the wheel a little bit more. And back to 100%. That was pretty early on the throttle. You can be a little bit later than that and still be safe. See, I had a little correction there, but it was pretty quick. See, I had to lift again. Wasn't entirely certain that I'll make it through without clipping the dirt. Do not touch this dirt. But definitely try to use all of the outside here. There's no off track, so it's pretty good. Now, in terms of a braking point here, it's pretty... non-existent. I have no idea where to brake here, but I am looking at the apex here. So as soon as I have sort of a good visual on the curb, I can really see it, I'm going to start braking. It's hard to spot, but this is where I'm going to start braking. 50% short period of time, looking for the apex early. I want to put as much of the car as I can on the red stuff. Missed it completely. I would say I got about another 10th here, easy, on this sector, just by clipping that red stuff. Already back on the power. I'm not trying to scrub off too much speed. I'm trying to accelerate as much as I can, being a little bit greedy here. And around this shadow, which is not a good indication because it can move during the race, but around this shadow is when I brake again, 50%. Not a lot of grip in this corner, and this corner is everything for your straight line speed here on the main straight. So you want to brake early just to be safe and make sure you clip that first apex. It's going to open up the second corner much better for you. So nice, very slow through it. Flipping it very nicely. Back on the power. I got the car exactly where I wanted, which is sort of in the middle or slightly to the left of the middle. And I can clip this second part nicely. A little too early on the entry. So there's no real understeer on the second apex. There is a lot on the first one. So you want to keep that in mind. Turn early for the first apex. Turn late for the second apex. And that will help you out a lot. And immediately open up the wheel back to 100%. Definitely don't touch the yellow curb on the outside. But you can use all of the red and green stuff. And that will bring us towards the end. Just hugging the inside here nicely. Very easy corner with this car. And that will give us a 36-8-1. Hope you guys enjoyed this track guide. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There's a setup in my Discord. Come say hi, hang out, whatever. And yeah, that's it. See you next video. Bye-bye.